If it's done under supervision, we could check the label for, what, a little K in a circle? I'm fine, Mark Rubin said, taking the wooden chair opposite her desk. His dark eyes scanned the room, absorbing his surroundings without comment. Tess had decorated the one-room office with whimsical artifacts to provide conversational fodder for the ill at ease, but these photographs and strange objets d'art didn't seem to be having much effect on Rubin. He didn't even raise his eyes to the time for a haircut clock, a barbershop find of which Tess was particularly proud. Although it smarted a little now, sitting beneath that glowing clock, given the untimely circumstances of Tess's most recent haircut. Self-consciously, she reached for her hair, a stubby ponytail where a long braid had once hung. Her friend Whitney said the style made Tess look like one of the original signers of the Declaration of Independence. It was, like most of Whitney's tactless assessments, all too true. But Tess didn't care. She wanted her braid back, and she was prepared to live through all the growing out stages. The furrier did take notice of the greyhound and the Doberman vying for control of the sofa. The greyhound, S.K., was winning, but only because she fought dirty, rabbiting her legs so her untrimmed toenails scraped the tender-skinned Miata, who whimpered piteously. S.K. always triumphed over Miata, the world's most docile Doberman. Are the dogs for protection? More for companionship. The neighborhood's not that bad. Times change. My grandfather couldn't wait to get out of East Baltimore. Of course, we lived closer to Lombard Street, just off Central, near the old synagogue. There were several synagogues in the neighborhood then. He had a funny way of holding his neck, as if that pole in his butt ran all the way up his backbone, and Tess wondered if his rigid posture came from years of balancing a yarmulke on the crown. There was no sign of a bobby pin or a clip. Did Mark Rubin consider bobby pins cheating? Were bobby pins unorthodox? Up to 5 minutes ago, Teresa Esther Weinstein Monaghan had considered herself well-versed in the religion practiced by her mother's side of the family. She knew a little Yiddish, could fake her way through a Seder as long as the Haggadah included an English translation. But now she felt 100% Goyish. To her visitor, she probably looked like some field hockey player from Notre Dame Prep. Did Donald tell you anything of my situation? Only that it was a missing person case, an unusual one that the police won't handle. He said you would prefer to fill me in on the details. Persons, he said. Missing persons. 4, in fact. My entire family. Divorce? She suppressed a sigh. Until recently, Tess had disdained divorce work, picking and choosing her jobs, but she had lost several weeks of work this summer and could no longer afford to be fussy. No, nothing like that. I came home one day and they were gone. Voluntarily? Excuse me? I assume your wife's flight was legal and not suspicious, or this would be a police case. The police agree. It's not their case, he said, his voice so low as to be almost inaudible, and Tess realized that what she had taken for coolness was an attempt to keep strong emotions in check. Me, I'm not so sure. I went to work. I had a family. I came home. I didn't. I certainly feel as if something has been stolen from me. Was there talk of a separation? Had you been quarreling? It's just hard to imagine such a thing happening out of the blue. But that's exactly what did happen. My wife left with my children, with no warning, no explanation. She simply disappeared the Friday before Labor Day, right before school started and just as my business was picking up. Early September is your busy season? No, but many of my customers get their furs out of storage in the month before the high holidays, just in case. Would the Orthodox wear fur to shul on Yom Kippur? Tess had no idea where her mind had dredged up this odd fact, but she felt as if she had just pulled off a sophisticated thought in a foreign language. Score 1 for her. Not all my customers are Orthodox. They're not even all Jewish. Point lost. Tess had envisioned a sea of glossy hats in a synagogue, but maybe she was thinking of some long-ago church service her grandfather had dragged her to. Or perhaps she wasn't having a memory so much as she was replaying.